So ESPN anchor Sage Steele depart from the network after the network and Sage Steele settled their lawsuit. Now, ESPN SportsCenter Sage Steele, who sparked controversy over her comments about the vaccine mandate, the female sports reporter had also criticized and critiqued President Barack Obama, racial identification. Steele joined the network in 2007, was removed from the network air in 2021 after her comments on politics and social issue drew criticism. She apologized for the comments, but last year she filed a lawsuit against the network alleging that her First Amendment freedom of speech was violated. Have successfully settled my case with ESPN Disney. This is what she wrote on her social media. I think it was Twitter. Have successfully settled my case with ESPN Disney. I decided to leave, so I exercised my First Amendment, so I can exercise my First Amendment rights more freely. Steele said in her social media post, I just acknowledged that it was Twitter, today, I am grateful for the wonderful experience I done had at the network for 16 years. I'm excited for the next chapter in my life. And ESPN Sports Center confirmed her departure in a statement to CNN. ESPN Sage Steele had mutually agreed to part ways. We thanked her for her many years of service, the network said today. A familiar a person familiar with the matter said that the network has been in talks with Sage Steele prior to her departure. The terms of her departure was not known. Steele attorney did not respond to CNN after requesting or asking the attorney for comment. Now, I want y'all to pay attention to the last of what I just said. And ESPN Sports Center confirmed her departure through CNN. Okay, and this will probably understand what's her next chapter in her career. Now, Sage Steele, we done talked about Sage Steele on my old channel. I'm Chris Down One. I still have that channel, as well as we talked about her on Just My Opinion podcast. All right. Sage Steele is very controversial. Sage Steele likes to say what's on her chest. She speaks her mind. A lot of Sage Steele comments are not really identified as pro-black. She was one of many that was against the vaccine mandate. She also talked about Barack Obama when he was in office. And she also commented about other things. And I think a lot of people seem to forget when she did a post on Instagram talking about her being holed up at the airport. But Sage Steele is a controversial lightning rod, and she's kind of similar to Candace Owens. All right. So as far as her future goes, I don't think she's going back into sports. I do feel like she's going to be more political because she has a political mindset. And, it's like this. You have the freedom to say whatever you want to say, but you also have to understand that there's consequences and repercussions on what you say. I do feel like Disney is not the network where you can speak freely about your political issues or what's going on in social media and or society issues and things of that nature. ESPN kind of stays neutral, even though ESPN has been more recently in the news. Well, Disney has been more recently in the news, particularly in Miami. But, other than that, Disney kind of stay neutral. Either, they have no meaning to or a take to politics, or they do have a take about politics. They just don't want to disclose it to the public. All right. So Sage Steele, I can easily see her working for CNN. I think Fox News, we report, you decide, may hire Sage Steele. She can be the token black woman to them, and they can use and abuse her like they did Stacey Dash. They use and abuse Stacey Dash. Stacey Dash said some controversial stuff about black politics and African Americans and things of that nature, because she's half black. And they used and abused her, and then where's Stacey Dash now? Stacey Dash is in some apartment complex fighting her husband. But either or, I think. But I feel like Sage Steele is a lot smarter than Stacey Dash. Sage Steele knows how important she is in the grand scheme of things. I don't think Sage Steele they're going to use and abuse Sage Steele if she joins Fox News. But I feel like her next chapter is going to be political. She's going to have she's going to be talking more freely about politics. I don't. My issues with Sage Steele has nothing to do with how she feels about us as African Americans or any other nationality. My critique with Sage Steele has nothing to do with what she wants to say and things of that nature. You have people that you have to agree to disagree. I think Candace Owens says some good things. Let's rephrase that. I think Candace Owens has a lot of great points. But I feel like Candace Owens is Candace Owens a full representative and a full believer of African Americans? I don't want to go there, because this is not a political YouTube channel. Is she pro African American? Judging by some of the language she has, judging by what she has said, it's an I don't know. And the same I feel about Sage Steele. You have to agree to disagree with Candace Owens and Sage Steele, and just keep it pushing and keep it moving on. We have to develop thicker skin. Everybody that's our color is not for us and by us. So there's a lot of people that are our color that don't speak for us fully. And they're more, they speak more and freely for their religion. They speak more freely for their political positioning. But as far as speaking for the African American culture, the African American community, just because they look like us or have parts of us, doesn't mean that they have to represent us. And I'm not saying Candace Owens and Sage Steele doesn't represent us, but I will say you have to have thicker skin when you're dealing with people like this. And I didn't have no issue with Sage Steele or Candace Owens' political takes or anything like that. I just looked at Sage Steele as, is she worth the headache, and if she's worth the money to continue to work at ESPN. And if you're letting go of Jalen Rose, I think Jalen Rose is more valuable than Sage Steele. I feel like Max Kellerman is more valuable to ESPN than Sage Steele. I feel like there's a lot of people that was let go a couple of weeks ago that are more valuable than Sage Steele. I think Sage Steele should have been the first individual to be let go at the worldwide leader of sports. And, Sage Steele reminds me of Jemele Hill. They want to speak their mind, say their piece, and get paid for it, even though they're getting paid to talk about sports. And I have no problem with Jemele Hill. It just felt like Jemele Hill's narrative just didn't fit with what ESPN was trying to do. And the same goes for Sage Steele. Again, I have no issues with these women. They can speak. They can, just like Jason Whitlock. I have no issues with Jason Whitlock. People, when I do videos about Jason Whitlock, they just go off. Okay, Jason Whitlock have a lot of you guys trained and triggered. And Jason Whitlock, Sage Steele, Jamel Hill, they know what they're doing. They know what buttons to push to keep y'all hating them, because it doesn't matter if you like them or hate them, as long as you continue to watch their videos or read their articles or check them out on social media. You're contributing to their popularity. They don't care which side of the fence you are on. Do you love them or do you hate them? They don't care nothing about that. As long as you're following them, as long as you're following their narrative, that's cool and fine and dandy with them. Even though Jamel Hill is out of a podcast with Spotify, Spotify saw the writing on the wall. Jamel Hill just not, is not a huge home run, particularly with our podcast and things of that nature. If you look at Candace Owens, even though she's quite successful on social media and has a podcast of her own, and Jason Whitlock, but they know how to get people, love them. If you love them or if you hate them, as long as you're continuing to watch them, you are indeed supporting them. And that's the whole point of it all. Okay? Doesn't matter if you like a person or if you hate a person, a content creator or a media, whatever. If you're supporting them, that's all they care about. They don't care how you got there. Or I hate, or I despise Sage Hill, or I like Sage Hill. As long as you're, continuing to watch their content, they don't care. Okay, at the end of the day, they don't care. All right. So why should you? Why should you care? Why would you continue week in, week out, go to their videos or go to their posts or go to anyone's video or go to anyone's post and you hate them, but you continue to contribute to their popularity? It just is beyond me. And, there were some people that, would come to my YouTube channel and didn't like the things that I said on my videos, but continue to watch every single video, even though they could not stand me. You're still, in essence, making these videos viable and making me more popular just because you hate me. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you hate someone or if you love someone. If you contribute to that person, then you're defeating your narrative. It just doesn't make sense, and that's what I view about Sage Steele. Like I said, I have no issues with Sage Steele about her political, what she feels about certain things in society or her political takes. The only criticism I had about Sage Steele, I just didn't think Sage Steele was at the right place. I think Sage Steele needed to be with CNN, Headline News, Fox News, some type of political, type of thing. It wouldn't surprise me none if Sage Steele just goes independent, creates a YouTube channel, creates a Rumble channel, creates her own blog, and she can be her own boss, and then that means she can say whatever she wants to say. If she does that, her stock was no higher. She's never going to get as high as she once was with ESPN. A lot of people learned this after the fact, just like Jamel Hill. They learned this after the fact, and they talk about how ESPN is stopping them to speak freely about certain things, or their First Amendments. They claim their First Amendments were violated and things of that nature, and then they leave. And when they leave, you don't hear from them ever again. People seem to forget that ESPN is this huge machine that you can get in front of, and it promotes you and makes you more valuable and make you that much important in the grand scheme of things, particularly in social media, particularly in the press world. And when they leave, they ask themselves, well, why they're not as popular as they was when they was on ESPN. Well, you're not with ESPN no more. You're not being advertised 365, 24/7. Okay, so if you want to speak your mind, you want to say your piece, you want to talk about, you want to talk about everything, then I guess you can go independent. And you might look up like a Candace Owens. You might look up like a Jason Whitlock. Okay. You might look up like Outtake. Okay. But those type of individuals, those companies are far and few. So good luck with that. All right, but yeah, I think Sage Steele after ESPN, maybe CNN, and that's why I said since CNN came with this article, it would not surprise me none if Sage Steele lands with CNN, or Fox News, or she just goes independent. It's just one of those three. But guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys later. Deuces.